What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. Don't forget as well, please, to like and share the vids. Again, thank you so much to everyone that still does that. You can also support the channel as well. I do have a Patreon account. The link is in the description. All right, Kell Brook fights very, very soon. We haven't actually seen Kell Brook fight since, was it November or December of 2018? Didn't fight the whole of 2019. So by the time Kell Brook actually steps in the ring, he wouldn't have fought for something like 14 or 15 months, which is just mind-boggling, just fucking ridiculous, if I'm honest with you. This fight will be at 154 pounds. He's done a number of interviews in the lead up to this fight, saying that he can still make 147. It's hard, obviously, he's getting older, right? It's not going to be easy to make 147 anymore, but he still can do it. He spoke about the Amir Khan fight. Obviously, if that fight has to happen, it will happen at 147. Amir Khan is not going to go to 154 pounds to fight Kell Brook, although he did go up in weight to fight Canelo Alvarez, but I don't think he's going to do the same thing for Kell Brook. If Kell Brook can still make 147, then Kell Brook needs to make 147, as far as I'm concerned. Kell Brook has no business fighting at 154 pounds, especially if his plan is to fight the very elite at 154 pounds. I'm a big Kell Brook fan. I'm one of his biggest critics, but that's because I'm a big fan of his. Kell Brook ain't hanging with the top guys at 154 pounds. No. I know some people might say he ain't hanging with the top guys at 147. I'd rather hedge my bets against him fighting the guys at 147, not the top guys, the Danny Garcias, the Porters, the Furmans of the world at 147, than him fighting the guys at 154 pounds. That's what I would rather him do. I've watched a couple of super welterweight fights recently. Tony Harrison versus Charlo. And yesterday I was watching Julian Williams versus, was it Jason Rosario? No, I don't want Kell Brook anywhere near that, if I'm honest with you. I have to hold my hands up. I've only heard of Rosario, that is his surname, right, once. And I've not really paid attention to him. I thought Julian Williams was going to beat him and then maybe go on to fight Charlo or Harrison, or maybe the rematch against Jarrett Hurd. I overlooked him. Did you see how big that guy looked? How big, not just how big he looked, because Hurd is big. This guy was big and technically very sound. The uppercut that pretty much finished the fight was just so well disguised and so beautifully placed. No. And I say that worried for Kell Brook. We're talking a Kell Brook, again, that's a lot older. We're talking a Kell Brook that's been inactive. We're talking a Kell Brook that's had 2 orbital bones broken. Kell Brook doesn't want any business with those guys. Kell Brook might have been considered big at 147. Kell Brook is small compared to these guys. I mean, that guy must have been about 6 foot, 6'1". Must have been about that big. Tony Harrison's 6 foot, 6'1". They're all big. They're all big, all athletic looking. None of them are damaged goods. All of them can punch. All of them can box. And I'm not even talking about the other guys, the Erickson Lubins of the world. I mean, there's so many guys deep in that 154 division. It's almost like a division. It almost reminds a bit of light heavyweight, where you can't reel off the names, but then you watch them fight and think, how's this guy not a top fighter? How's this guy not fighting for world titles? There are far too many sharks at 154. And the problem with a lot of these sharks as well, especially for Kell Brook, because if you're Kell Brook, you're fighting for money now. I mean, look, you're pretty much done at the end of your career. All you want is money. You don't really want belts. People talk about belts. It's money fights. Not many of those guys are money fights. Charlo, maybe. That's it. They're not money fights. So what's he searching for at 154? Again, if you can kill yourself to make 147, please do it. And look, I say kill yourself. I mean, we all see pictures of Kell Brook in between fights. Or maybe, look, maybe this is a new Kell Brook. But the old Kell Brook in between fights used to put on a lot of weight. It looks like he was walking around at 180, 190 sometimes. If Kell Brook is serious, Kell Brook should stay around the 170 mark, and then 147, yes, difficult, but look, it's going to be difficult for everyone. Don't tell me 147 isn't difficult for Errol Spence. Errol Spence is massive, right? I mean, I saw a picture of Keith Thurman the other day. It's difficult for him as well, right? It's difficult for all of these guys. Not, unless you're some of the guys like a Terence Crawford or Danny Garcia that's come up from the smaller weight classes, it's going to be difficult for all of them, right? So what? Difficult for Kell Brook. I'm telling you now, 154 is worse. 154 in terms of what's up there is worse. Again, if you haven't seen that Jason Rosario, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correct, versus Julian Williams, go and watch that fight, right? Go and watch a tape of Jared Hurd. Go and watch Erickson Lubin's last fight. Again, technically very sound. Go and watch Charlo's fight. Go and watch Harrison fight. That's what's there in terms of the top of the division. Again, if Kell Brook wants to stay around and fight guys that are fringe at 154, like the guy he's fighting in a few days, next week or wherever it is, then yeah, fine. But if you want to fight the elite, then I'm sorry, he's just undersized. He's too small. He's too small. A younger Kell Brook, maybe. Kell Brook, 28, 29, that, no damage, unbeaten, going up, confident. Yes, it's not the same guy. He's not as confident as he once was, right? I mean, and he knows now about the damage around his eyes. He knows he's not going to be confident anymore. So I personally would hate to see him against any of those guys. Hate to see him. I'd rather him kill himself to make 147, and I don't know if Eddie Hearn can deliver it, but again, the Danny Garcias, the Furmans, the Porter rematch maybe, those kind of guys, right? I'm not talking about Spence and Crawford. I'm talking about other guys at 147 that still good fights, much more money fights than the guys I just mentioned at 154. They are Danny Garcia, Porter, Furman, much more money fights. That makes sense. If none of that can happen, so he struggles to make 147 and the guys at 154 are too big, then he's got to find a way of fighting the guys that don't really want to be at 147, but are also maybe undersized at 154. I'm thinking of guys like Jesse Vargas. Vargas doesn't want to be at 147. Even he himself said he's going to struggle to make the weight for Mikey Garcia. We'll do it, but it's not easy. He's got to do those kind of fights. Anything else, it doesn't make sense. He's in a weird position right now. A very weird position. Again, I get it. Struggles to make weight 147. But even he must have watched those guys fight. Not just that fight. Again, the Charlo versus Harrison fight, and thought, they're just too big. They're too big and they're too fresh. Again, there isn't much damaged goods up there. There really isn't. So, look, tough decisions for Kell Brook. Tough matchmaking for Eddie Hearn. But I guess this is what you get when you make bad decisions, GGG, and you're super inactive and you balloon up in weight in between fights. This is what happens. But I wish him good luck, again, because I am a big fan. Peace.